Hello everyone, so I haven't done a book review for a wee while, so I'm going to review a book, and it's a book called Islam Answers Atheism. So it probably seems like a bit of a heavy book, and I suppose it is in a way, but usually during Ramadan I'll usually read some book about Islam and understanding that a bit better. And this was the book that I chose to read during Ramadan. So Islam Answers Atheism by Asrar Rashid. Asrar Rashid is a British chap who lives, I think, in Birmingham, and he wrote this. And I've got to say, first of all, it's a nice book in terms of how it's put together. It's a nice hardback. I think it's printed in Turkey, and it's got a nice little green ribbon which you can use as a bookmark, which I found quite useful. Basically this book, I think, has come about because it's a kind of response to Islamic response to the new atheism. So new atheism is this movement of atheism which was kind of really promoted by various personalities, and they call them sometimes the four horsemen of new atheism, which is like Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, and one other guy that I can't remember now. But also you get other celebrities talking about atheism, like Ricky Gervais, and quite famously Stephen Fry, who there's a very famous YouTube clip where he talked about why have a God. How dare there be a God where there's, children with cancer and all that kind of thing. And essentially what he was talking about, I believe, was the problem of evil. So that is covered in this. And so although we talk about new atheism, it's basically something that's been around for antiquity. And Asrar Rashid goes into really his arguments for that. So the very first chapter is Islam and Atheism. How can Islam answer atheism? And I think these these are arguments that haven't just been made now. They've been around for centuries, literally. So a lot of this goes into things like epistemology, which I didn't even know what the word meant, but basically it's looking at how knowledge is constructed and how we should look at knowledge. So that seems to be epistemology. So a lot of it goes into that. So some of the book did get really boring because it was just like, how to know something and what's the rationale behind knowing things. So it's like in the chapter on epistemology, you have things like categorization of empirical and rational judgments, certainty and types of proofs, perceptible or observable phenomena, the intuitive. I mean, it wasn't the most, awe-inspiring read, but I think you had to go through that to understand that, for you to get a full understanding of it. And I think it's something I'll read again. There were some things in this that I heard about but I'd forgotten about, like Occam's Razor. Occam was, I think, Sir William of Occam, I think in 1142 or whatever he was born. And his idea, which is not a new idea, it was based on what Aristotle has said, that if you've got a few explanations, the simplest explanation is usually the best one. Which is not always true, but that, and the idea is that the razor takes away all superfluous information. So there's things like that. He then also talks about Islam, but not necessarily, the whole of Islam. He doesn't talk about Islamic history or culture. And he says, look, Islamic history and culture is about people dealing with other people, and there've been bad examples and good examples, or examples of good and examples of bad. So he's not really interested in that, and he doesn't go into that. What he does is goes into what Islam says about various things, and also the controversies. So he looks at things like I mean, things like where people have said, look, what about this? What about that? The purpose of human life. Why does God need our worship? I suppose these are kind of things that you would want to ask if you were somebody that believes in an all-powerful creator. And he does go into examples of what he thinks are proofs that there is a creator. So the idea that in a world that is created and caused, at some point there has to be something that's uncaused and uncreated. Otherwise, it would just go on into infinity. And why he doesn't think that would also be something that holds up either. He also goes into things like the clashes of modern science with Islam. And there are things that we think, well, is that true? Like, the Prophet's night journey, where he's supposed to have gone from Medina to Jerusalem in one night. How is that possible? Things like that. Evolution, intelligent design, and also controversies like, jihad, slavery, homosexuality, the place of homosexuality in Islam, polygamy, the hijab, why should women have become created from the rib of Adam, that kind of thing, women and inheritance laws, divorce laws. So it goes into a lot of that, and like I said, it's actually fairly easy to read. It's not really, so it's well written, and it's very well put together, and it's got a very good contents page, which you can really look up things later on. Again, they're his ideas, but they're based on probably, I would say, traditional orthodox ideas in Islam. What else can I say about this? Generally, I thought this was quite a good book. If you want to know more about Islam, and even if you're a theist who wants to know more about, why should you believe in a God, full stop, I think this is not a bad one to read. But again, it's, I did find the beginning of it kind of a bit heavy going, simply because he's going into theories and why people believe what they do. Then it sort of got more interesting after that. So that's Islam Answers Atheism by Asrar Rashid. Hope you enjoyed that. And yeah. Oh, there's a funny, the cover's a bit funny. It's got London looking like a post-apocalyptic kind of scene. I think maybe the point of that is that, if you don't believe in a God, eventually that's where you end up. So I think that's probably what he means by that. That's where nihilism, or the idea that there's no meaning in anything, that's where it's going to take you. So, okay, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.